So, Danny Rohl's first game in charge Wednesday, down at Vicarage Road to face Watford. Before the game, I think there was a lot of positivity around the camp. He'd talked very well himself in the press. He'd brought in this new coaching team around him, albeit they've not had a lot of time to work with the players. But I think there's a positive mood in the camp and the fan base. And we'll have a quick look at his team lineup. So, Danny Rohl's first Wednesday team. 8 changes he made. Dawson in goal. Back 4 was Valentin, Iorfa, Diaby and Fameo. Midfield from right to left, Masaba, Hendrick, Bannon and Buckley. And Windass sort of supporting Patterson at centre forward. 8 changes there. A couple of surprising ones for me personally. Reece James, I'm a bit surprised to see him dropped. I know he's not had a lot of football. Looked a bit tired towards the end of last match, but I still thought he'd have been in there. Gives us that nice bit of balance, and especially when he's going to a proper back 4 today. And the other one, a little bit surprised, no Michael Heckwee in there. Perhaps he's got a knock or something, I don't know. But I thought he played ever so well in the last game. Thought he won it, probably best 3 players, so a bit surprised there. Diaby came back in, who, as I've said in previous videos, still got a bit to do to win me over. Patterson up front. I don't think that's too surprising, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people, Pato's not a natural striker, but when you listen to the interviews that Rohl's done, and when you look at the way that previous teams have played, whether he's helped to coach, very much are trying to close down from the front method. And somebody like Pato that works his bollocks off, I think he was always the sort of player that were going to impress a manager like this when the style that he wants to implement. So, no too big a surprise to see Pato up there. Hendrick in midfield. Was that a surprise? I don't know. I love George Byers. Thought he did look rusty in the last game. I don't think we've seen the best of Jeff Hendrick. I think he has got a certain pedigree in this division previously with Derby and Burnley. Obviously not really done out at Newcastle, but certainly before that he's shown he can do it at this level and play very well. And it was like I said, it would change the system to a sort of, I won't call it a 4-4-2 exactly. Windass supporting Patterson up front, but popping up all over the show really. Buckley on that left hand side, but slightly tucked in, obviously being right footed. Masaba right out on that right flank to try and stretch him out there. Different way of playing, different lineup, different system, different way of playing. How did we get on with it though? Well, actually we started really brightly and we were trying to close down from the front. There were probably 2 minutes in, I thought there was a sign of things to come, not particularly in this game as such, but I think that we'll see going forward. When we squeezed right up almost as a 4 onto him. So there were Patterson down the middle and Windass squeezed up there with him, Masaba on right, Buckley on left, and we really got right into him and put him under pressure. They'd got a centre back, Porteous I think his name was, not very comfortable on ball. And there were a few opportunities in there where I thought, let him have it and then go and give him squeeze, He ended up getting a booking, but it was positive from Wednesday. We talk about it all the time, playing on front foot, trying to get at teams, trying to put teams under pressure, and I thought we did that. Akin Fameo, who for me, not a left back, but did actually get down left hand side and managed to hook a ball in early doors. And Masaba's coming round back door. For me, he's got to edit. He sort of engineers himself underneath it. I think a proper centre forward there probably gets his timing and gets up and I think he's got a chance to head that on target. But yeah, positive start from Wednesday. I mean, it was scrappy. It weren't a fantastic game of football, end to end. There were a few times when you could see there was like a broken link in chain when we were trying to close down, we were trying to press them. There were a couple of moments when I saw Patterson go airing in to close his man, and they got an out ball, and it tended to be Masaba I noticed that were a bit slow in going and squeezing his man. And I could see Pato looking a bit annoyed with him there a couple of times. But generally, I mean, it's not going to click overnight, is it? You know, they've only had a few days training with him. I think Chris Powell only arrived yesterday officially. But generally, we were closing down and putting them under pressure. And as I said, it only takes a weak linking chain, and they've got that out ball, haven't they, Watford, which happened a few times. But generally, I thought we did well, and I thought there were signs there, seeds of growth, if you like, in the way that we're going to be trying to play in future. He took Patterson down. I don't know how he's got away with it. And I'm thinking with him again, who took down Buckley after Wednesday had put together probably the best move at season. They got the ball, they were zipping it about nicely, in complete control of it. And this is one of the things I talked about last week when Neil Thompson was in charge. Even though you could see the lads were more positive than they had been. There's still that little bit of fear that ball were bouncing off them. You know, when folks are a bit nervy, they tense and ball bounces off. They look really, really comfortable in this little passage that they had. I would say probably 20. I bet it made 20 passes before Buckley were took down. I mean, they were the threat. They've got some decent players, but best chance probably about half an hour. Ball in, Windass with an header. I think he'll be disappointed he didn't test goalkeeper, if I'm honest with you. Good opportunity, and I would expect him, as a rule, to get that on target, but obviously he's been out for a couple of games, so not 100% match sharp. And I think if he's in the middle of he's probably played 3 or 4 games on spin, I think that's probably sort of opportunity that he buries, or at least gets on target and makes keeper work. Probably a minute after that, a brilliant bit of defending by Valentin. Now, I like Valentin going forward. That's, and I can see why he's in the team, probably above Liam Palmer at this stage. But the defending has been the weak part of his game for me. But it was a really great bit. The cross came in, and he was in the wrong position actually, but he did brilliantly to sort of get his heel to ball and put it away, and it's a good job he did, because Bale were closing in right back, and it would have just been a slot home for him. So that was a great bit of defending, put that away from a corner. It's little moments in games, and we talk about nerves and how pressure builds, and obviously we haven't won a game yet, so that pressure does build, and I think that's when and with a team who don't create many chances. When you don't create a lot of chances, I think that's when people start snatching at them when they do come along. 37 minutes, there's a ball, it sits up for Buckley. And again, I'd fancy him in normal times, if you know what I mean, to fizz that on target, but he swipes across it and gets far too much swaz on it. But again, if you're playing with confidence, if you're not 7-9 points adrift, I think you make a cleaner connection on that. And I think there were 1 or 2 times today that lads probably had that opportunity and either didn't take it on. There were a time when Masaba got into box, thought he was going to take that on. He ended up sort of taking an extra nudge and trying to get a crossing. And Hendrick had one as well, just slightly snatched. I mean, I'd say they were 2 evenly matched teams actually. They weren't a great side, but they had the moments, they had the threats. Ngakia got away, put a cross in, loser. Again, he got right underneath it with his head. But you could sense there was an air of frustration around Vicarage Road with the way they were playing. No, obviously I don't know much about them. I don't know how they've been playing this season. Maybe it's been a bit like that anyway. But I do wonder, and I do like to think, that part of that frustration was the fact that Wednesday were frustrating them by the fact that we were putting them under pressure, we were closing them down quickly, and we were having a fair bit of the ball. Wednesday had some really good spells in this first half. Masaba had a couple of little runs into the box. He's a frustrating player, but the thing we've got to remember is, but a side that's been struggling for confidence. But a side that's not really been attacking until this point of the season, 11, 12 games in, whatever it is. And I think with the sort of player he is, the position he plays, his age, and Wednesday team struggling for confidence, I think it's always going to be a case that he will probably flit in and out of games. And I thought that was the case today. I thought there were some really good moments from him, but equally, I thought there were, 5-minute little spells when he vanished from the game and didn't get involved as much as he could. Yeah, so got in at half time, 0-0. And I'm sat there and I'm quite confident. I thought, I think we can nick this. I thought we'd edged first half, if I'm honest with you. And it's very rare you can say that this season. But I thought we used ball well. I thought we were a lot better when we didn't have ball. I thought we were closing down quicker. I thought our shape were better. People seem to know what the jobs were. Do you know what I mean? And that's half it, job in football, isn't it? Give somebody a job to do, a simple instruction, and let them crack on with it. And I think that showed today that the players knew what they were doing. And when I compare this, albeit we've lost again, it's another game that we haven't scored, but when I compare this to other performances this season, I could actually see a method, I could actually see a plan and see what we were trying to do, albeit it didn't always come off. Watford made a double change at half time. As I said, their fans weren't particularly happy with the performance. I'm not sure the manager were either. And they came out and give it a bit of a go into second half. I suspect they'd had a bit of a bollocking at half time. So they had a little spell. But again, I thought Wednesday, after that, grew into it after the first 5-10 minutes. And again, I thought it were Wednesday in ascendancy as sort of midway into second half. Hendrick went on a good run. As I said, he's got decent pedigree in this division. We haven't seen best of him yet, bar one choke. But he's hardly kicked a ball in anger up at Newcastle, as he saw. He went on a good run, got chopped down. Windass put a lovely free kick in, and funnily enough it were Hendrick on end of it, who's not got it on target again. But again, like I said, Wednesday growing it game and little bits of confidence. During this spell, I would say it was a 15-minute spell, Wednesday really sort of were on top. Windass were getting involved in everything. And I know he's got his critics and he's been out for 2 or 3 games, but I thought he were really lively today. Certainly in this spell, I thought he was one of our better players. It was also around this stage as well that I thought Masaba just starting to get into the game. Like I said, I had 1 or 2 moments in first half, drifted in and out a little bit for me, but I thought he were really starting to set bull by horns, and of course then we get to probably a big talking point. Masaba drives on, he gets past man, ref blows whistle. In real time I saw it and I thought, oh, that's a bit soft. Then I saw it from a different angle. I thought, oh no, it is penalty. Fair play. Is it a penalty? Isn't it a penalty? And I've seen it from a third angle tonight, and I'm like, oh, does their kid get a bit on ball? But the point is this: the referee's close to the action. He's seen it. There's no doubt that their lad catches Masaba's leg. There's no doubt about that at all. It's whether he gets out on ball. But the referee has seen enough to blow whistle. I've refereed games of football. You don't blow whistle unless you're sure when it's a penalty. And it's one that fans up and down the country will say this up and down land. He'd give that if it were in midfield, It's an age-old cliche, but there is a truth in it. Because when it's in box, you want to be sure. You want to be sure. And I've been up whistle. You only blow that if you think there's a definite penalty there. So he's blown and he's given it. Next thing, he's over at liner. It's not a penalty. Linesman's further away. He's got an angle where the 2 players are like that as they get into his... He's not seeing that better than referee. He's not seeing that better than referee. So then you get to... What's he said to make referee change his mind? whether it is or it ain't, he's given a decision and then he's changed it. I mean, when we were kids, God, we used to get it drilled into us. Don't have a go at ref, he'll never change his mind. Well, a few of their players have surrounded him and he's gone over to the linesman, and that's exactly what he's done. He's changed his mind, and like I said, there's 3 or 4 angles you can see. He definitely catches Masaba's leg. And for me, if the ref sees enough in that to blow whistle, I think he's got to stick by his decision. And for me, I said it earlier, it's either a goal kick or a penalty. The fact he's given a corner, to me, I think that's neshing it. It's not giving us that decision. But it's also not, by giving it a corner, it's like, oh, that's a front blow, it's a corner. That's how I'm reading it. Disappointing refereeing, Obviously there's no VAR down here. But it's the second time in 2 seasons when, a referee's made a decision, blown whistle, and we're waiting for the restart of play, and then some liner has got involved. So, all these tellies in corner at grounds, fucking turn them all off. Tear them all down, turn them all off. Don't have them on during game for me. And that's a pivotal moment in game, because that penalty claim came in a period when Wednesday were playing really well. Like I said, Masaba were getting a lot of ball. Windass were heavily involved in everything, and I genuinely thought there was something coming. Even after pen, or perhaps because of the pen, I thought Wednesday really started turning screw then. I don't know if they were fired up by it, because that's of course the other side of it, When you've got what you perceive to be an injustice against you, sometimes it can really give you that bit more fighting spirit. And I thought Wednesday were really turning screw then, that sort of 5-10 minutes after. And then Danny Rohl made his first changes as a Wednesday manager. And Wilkes came on for Masaba. You see, first half I could understand that sub. I'd got half a mind that sub might come, because like I said, Masaba had drifted in and out. The second half, and the way he was playing, and the way 5 minutes before the penalty and probably 5-10 minutes after the penalty, I thought he was really starting to drive into the game. So I was a bit surprised he came off. I don't know, maybe he got an injury, maybe he got a pull at a strain. Although I suspect that Danny Rohl probably just wanted to run his eye over players in a match day situation. So Wilkes came on into that sort of right hand side position that he played for Hull. I mean, obviously last season we signed him, he's a winger, goal scoring winger, decent record. But Wednesday we were playing a 3-5-2, so he tended to get chucked up front, and so I thought great opportunity for him here to come in and show what he can do. And for whatever reason, lad just didn't seem to be on it today. I thought he looked for a pass when he could take a man on. Thought he tried to take a man on when he could have probably looked for a little give and go or something. Just decision making, I didn't think were on point today. And I thought it was a disappointing performance. I've been talking to one at lads today, and he said he's too beefy, Jim. He said you can't be a winger that big. And I don't know about that, but I mean, there is that other kid, that big kid that played for Wolves. Him all slathered him, sending baby oil. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, generally I sort of see what he's saying. He does look like a gym bunny. Very beefy, but that shouldn't affect your decision making, should it? Do you know what I mean? And I thought Wednesday lost a little bit of momentum with that. So after about 5-6 minutes of that, maybe a little bit more, maybe touching 10, James comes on for Buckley. Bit of a reshuffle for Wednesday. Does that do us any favours? I'm not sure it does. It certainly doesn't do Malik Wilkes any favours, because what happens then is what happened last season. He ends up sort of getting shoved up there with Pato. And some players are better with pitch in front of them, aren't they? Rather than the pitch being behind them, if you know what I mean. So James goes to sort of left wing back. Makinfameo drops into centre. It gives us a little bit more beef in middle of part, but Windass drops in a little bit. but of course typically they then score. It's Coney who coming at half-time sub for them. It's a good ball, and a Spray gets it, no relation to the gun-toting Colombian. He gets away down inside right channel, but then he comes inside, and for me it's too easy. It's too easy. He gets inside, then he runs across for Mayo. Bannon's coming in, someone else is coming in, and he just sort of, there's a bit of a crowd scene actually. It's a decent finish. I think you've got to hold your hands up because he's got a very narrow sort of range to shoot it through, and he hooks his left foot through it and scores it on near post. I've seen Dawson criticised. I think there's a bit of a myth with this about keepers being beaten on near post with speed of shots coming these days, and one thing and another. But that's another topic for another day. Maybe you can do a bit better, but the fact is, you can't allow a player to drift in like that, and it's two half-hearted tackles, and then by the time he's sort of in the box, nobody wants to make a tackle, do they? Although maybe with this referee they fucking should, because he could have awarded it and then changed his mind from a liner 60 yards away. Officials. It's alright kicking balls. That. We then bring Smith and Gregory on at end, so the kitchen sink job really, isn't it? And this is where I think fitness starts waning a tiny bit, and I think the confidence when you're not winning games, and Wednesday you haven't won a game, it doesn't matter how well you play, as soon as you go a goal down, it's bound to hit. It's psychological, isn't it? Here we go again, and hopefully this is where this Sasha Lenz will come into things, this sports psychologist they've got in. Hopefully he can get into their heads and turn around that sort of mentality a little bit. But I felt for Wednesday. I did, because it weren't a game they deserved to lose. Man of the match. Earlier I said to myself, it's Buckley, because I like the way he uses ball. I like the way that he's not afraid to go at people. Like I said, none of them's particularly come off today, but you can see he's got that eye. He likes to look for that little thread pass. Good feet, and he's got a little bit of needle in him as well. Do you know what I mean? He only looks slightly built, and he's clearly a ball player, but he's got that little bit of needle in his boots as well. So I like him, and he probably would have been my man of the match. I thought Masaba did well in patches in first half. Second half, I thought that probably one of the best spells we've seen from him this season before he went off. But thinking about the game as a whole for 90 minutes, I'm trying to think about what. I'll explain me thinking here. Man of the match is man of the match, obviously, and then I'm thinking about the team performance as a whole. What was good about the team performance? And then when I start thinking about what was good about the team performance, that's why I've changed my man of the match. Because my man of the match, when I think about the team as a whole, would be Pato. Because I'm really impressed with bits that Buckley did. But I was impressed with the way Wednesday played today. I was impressed with the way they tried to close down. Impressed the work that they did off the ball. The way that they trapped back. I mean, I've done videos earlier this season. There's been times when Wednesday's been under pressure at 0-0. And other teams been breaking. You're desperate for points. And I've seen people walking back. Strolling back. They've been sprinting back today. When Watford have brought, they've been sprinting back. They've been and that's about attitude and mindset. It's not, it's not tactical, is it? It's hard work, it's determination, it's desire to get back and get a foot in and get a blocking. And equally, when Watford were in possession at the back and we were going and trying to squeeze them again, And there always has to be a catalyst for that, and I thought Callum Paterson was that catalyst for closing down today from front. Ran his blood to water again. So when I think about this performance as a whole, as Danny Rohl trying to implement his style onto Wednesday, I thought Callum Paterson sort of shone as what Danny Rohl is wanting us to do as a unit. So very impressed with John Buckley, but overall I would say Callum Paterson my man of the match. So it's another defeat. I ain't even looked at the table because I know we were 7 points adrift before the game, but we're still going to be adrift if we won the game. And to a certain extent, it's not resignation that we're down. There's still 3/4 of the season to go, 2/3 of the season to go, whatever. And it can be done. And if we keep making progress, because I think today has been a stepping stone in progress, I think there was a lot good about performance. We can get points, but until we start getting points, I'm not going to look at the table because it is what it is, isn't it? We are adrift. If we can put 2 or 3 games together where we get a win and a draw and another win and another draw, do you know what I mean? Start building up a little bit of momentum, however it comes, then I might just have a quick glance at the table and, can we do it? But at this stage, I'm more bothered about just seeing a good performance at Park. And today there was some mumping before kick-off when selection was announced. I suppose it's going to happen. And I've seen a bit of mumping after it's another defeat, it's shit Wednesday and blah blah blah. But it's been shit all season and we haven't been winning games. Today I thought we were worthy of a point. We did not deserve to lose that game. We worked hard. We played some of the best football we've played. And we had a lot more at ball. If I look back at the rest of this season, there's been games we've barely had a kick. There's been games where we've been at home and barely had a kick. But we've gone to Watford and we've took game to them. Like I said, there's a moving first half. It's probably 15, 20 odd passes. We took game to them, had a go. Are we short on quality at top end of pitch? Yeah, we are. But, that's not new. And there's nothing Danny Rohl can do about that because the transfer window's shut. But we knew this last January. Even though we went up last season, 96 points, scored a lot of goals. Those goals were spread. Smith got a few, and a few of them were penalties. But when we were talking about an attacking threat last season, there were still games where we were all saying it. There weren't quite that cohesion up front. We're still scoring a lot of goals, and we might spank 5 passes for this green or whatever. But that cohesion up top end of pitch, even then we didn't particularly have that all the time. So it was always going to be harder up here with same sort of players. So we could do with some strengthening up top. Midfield, I still think we're looking for the right balance in there. I'm more confident in this bloke to find that balance than I were with last bloke. You've got to get best out of Bannon, but I thought he had a good game today. I think Buckley's a talent. We've got to find a way to get best out of him. And I do believe that, again, for Wednesday to play well, I would like to see George Byers involved. I still think in retaining ball and in terms of getting us going forward, I think he's our best ticker, if you like. It's about getting that balance in there. I trust Danny Rohl to do it. First game today, for me, a decent performance. I know it's a loss. I know we haven't scored again. It's been over a month. That is an ongoing issue. But step in the right direction. And at this stage, and to be frank with you, some of the pants we've seen this season, I'll take that. Let me put it this way. I had a text from a mate of mine tonight. I'm going Plymouth Wednesday. Very looking forward to it. I wouldn't have said that at any other stage this season. And I think that probably sums it up. Anyway, it's cracking on. So I'm off. Enjoy your Sunday. Try not to be too down about table. There's no we can do about it. No point whittling. But I think there's been seeds today. The shoots a recovery. Will it be enough to save this season? Perhaps not. But shoots a recovery that we're going in the right direction. And as I said in preview video, if a Wednesday team goes for it, if a Wednesday team works hard, if a Wednesday team tries to attack, they'll get backed. And you've seen that today with tremendous backing by Wednesday fans down there at Vicarage Road. Applauded lads off, applauded manager, because they're not what they can see with their own two eyes, you know. Albeit it's a defeat, Wednesday deserves something from that, and we haven't always been able to say that this year. So I think Wednesday fans will be behind this manager, behind this team and behind the lads, and just got to hope and pray that keep working hard and get to that first win. The two big games coming up, Plymouth and Rotherham, and take something from them. I think we'll be happy. Before that, pound accumulator I had on Friday for £694 because Rotherham game got cancelled. Nottingham Forest pound bet £694. Nottingham Forest letting the last minute goal against Luton Town. I'm more upset about that than what's happened at Wednesday today. I'll take that performance, mate. I'll take performances like that all day. Silly.